Here's why you play Akai, the Panda Warrior, as a jungler. First, Akai provides great crowd control, especially with his knockouts and knockbacks, making him a disruptive force in fights. His tankiness and shield from his passive gives him amazing survivability, allowing him to soak up damage while creating chaos in the enemy formation. Akai excels in initiating team fights with his mobility and ultimate, which can turn the tide of battle. However, Akai is vulnerable to suppression and has limited damage output, making him more of a utility jungler than a carry. Akai's passive, Tai Chi, grants him a shield every time he uses a skill, which scales with his max HP. His basic attacks deal bonus physical damage to marked enemies, whether they are creeps or enemy heroes. This passive adds to Akai's tankiness and helps him stick to targets during skirmishes. Akai's first skill, Headbutt, allows him to charge forward, dealing damage to all enemies in his path. If Akai hits an enemy hero, they are knocked airborne for 0.5 seconds, and he gains the ability to roll in the joystick's direction. This skill is perfect for initiating fights or repositioning quickly during combat. It can also be used while spinning with his ultimate for greater disruption. Akai's second skill, Body Slam, has him smash the ground, dealing physical damage to nearby enemies and slowing them for 2 seconds. This skill offers strong area of effect damage and is useful for slowing down enemies, setting them up for crowd control, or limiting their movement during a team fight. Akai's ultimate, Heavy Spin, removes all debuffs from him, making him immune to slows while he spins and knocks enemies back. During this 4-second spin, Akai deals physical damage to nearby enemies and increases its movement speed over time. The knockback effect can disrupt enemy formations and chain crowd control, making it difficult for opponents to recover. This ultimate is only interruptible by suppression or morph effects, making it reliable in most situations. A common combo for Akai involves using his first skill to initiate by knocking up an enemy, immediately followed with his ultimate to spin and knock back enemies, disrupting the enemy formation. After the ultimate ends, follow up with his second skill to slow and deal additional area damage, securing kills or zoning out key enemies. Moving on to builds, I usually build Bloody Retribution Tough Boots, Cursed Helmet, Guardian Helmet, Twilight Armor, Dominance Eyes, and Athena Shield. These are the emblems that go along with this build. For battle spells, Retribution is a must for jungling as it helps with farming and securing objectives. Akai performs well against heroes that lack mobility like Gord or Eudora, as they are easy targets for his crowd control. He struggles against heroes like Franco or Kaja who have suppression skills that can interrupt his ultimate and neutralize his effectiveness. Be cautious of these matchups when playing Akai. You should maximize his second skill, Body Slam, first for its area damage and slow effect. Upgrade his first skill, Headbutt, as a backup for more frequent initiations and mobility. As always, upgrade his ultimate Heavy Spin whenever available for its game-changing crowd control. Akai is all about positioning and timing. When playing as a jungler, prioritize ganking side lanes using his mobility from Headbutt to engage and surprise enemies. His ultimate, Heavy Spin, is most effective when used to pin enemies against a wall or towers, creating a lethal situation for them. Use skill 2 wisely to either slow fleeing enemies or control groups of enemies during fights. Be mindful of using your ultimate at the right moment, as it can both save your teammates and prevent enemies from escaping. Keep an eye on enemy crowd control, especially suppression effects, since they can completely interrupt your ultimate and leave you vulnerable.